For my business owners who are just starting out and getting ready to put their business out, but are not knowing how to show up online, or for my business owners who are a little bit more established, but then have moments of feeling like maybe they're not doing enough or maybe they need to do more when it comes to social media, I'm going to let you know right now you do not need to be perfect at all when it comes to being on social media. There's a lot of pressure to perform. There's a lot of pressure to show up. There's a lot of people who are, super successful on social media, a lot of businesses who have skyrocketed in different ways for different reasons. And a lot of times, as a starting business owner, we compare ourselves and we think that what we're doing isn't as valuable as them. But I'm going to stop you right there. That is not the case at all. I'm a social media coach, strategist, content creator, manager, the whole nine. And when I was beginning the phase of starting my business and getting ready to put myself online, I felt an immense amount of pressure. I felt like everything needed to be perfect, my branding, my content, how I was showing up online. So I spent a lot of time focusing on creating things and making sure everything was going to be in alignment for this perfect time when I was going to launch everything. And what did I realize? Is that there was never a perfect timing for anything, and that I was just holding myself back because I thought that I needed to show up in this certain aesthetic because of what I was doing and like the expertise that I was trying to showcase. Even now, I'm a year into my business, and in these last couple months, I stopped, posting and putting myself out there because then I was like, do I need to regroup? Is this even resonating with people? Do I need to go into a completely different direction? And I was even comparing myself to other like social media creators who were, doing super well. And I kept thinking like, do I need to create content that looks like theirs? Do I need to put out things like this? And in the last month, I realized that I don't need to be anybody else. I don't need to show up like anybody else. I just need to be myself and showcase my story, showcase my experience and my expertise. So, if you're stuck in this constant cycle of perfectionism, let me give you 3 tips on how you can kind of break away from that and help you show up better online. Tip number 1, I'm gonna need you all to write this down, but you need to focus on connection. Stop focusing so much on how your content looks. Start thinking about how do you want it to feel when people see your content. A lot of times now, people aren't looking for perfection. We're not looking for a full production, even. We're just looking to see if the information that we're given is A, relevant to us, B, is it credible, and C, is it something that we could take away from it? So focus on that. You don't need to have the fancy ring light, the fancy gimbal, the tripod, the whole nine. You literally just need your phone and yourself. That's it. I'm telling you too, the more relatable that you are, is especially starting out, this is what's also going to help people feel really connected to you, and it's also what's going to build trust for them to want to continue to see your progress, see support your business. When you just focus on building connection, there's a genuineness that also comes with that, and that's going to be super duper important when it comes to building your content. My second tip, just be yourself. Because being yourself is the blueprint that is what's also going to help you become more successful on social media and also help your business be successful as well. Again, comparison is the thief of joy. We continue to compare ourselves to, again, other people in our industry, other people in our niches, and that's what takes away from who we are and what we have to offer and bring to the table. I mean, still look at other people for inspiration, and, keep up with things as far as trends, but I wouldn't necessarily be trying to chase every single trend or do everything that other people are trying to do. Like, use it as inspiration, but showcase more of yourself, who you are, your story. And also, while being yourself, don't focus on having to be this perfect version of yourself either. 9 times out of 10, people are also going to be, at least on TikTok, I see a lot of people show up and their hair is crazy, or their car is a mess, or their house is a mess. And those are the pieces of content that do exceedingly well. Why? It's because those people are just showing up as themselves. They're being genuine. They're not trying to, sell you on this perfect image so that you would buy into whatever they're trying to sell you. The more authentic that you are, the better that you're going to do, not only for your business, but for your content as well. Because your personality, your tone, and your quirks, that is what's going to set you apart. And my last tip, I want you to set realistic goals with yourself. So when I say this, yes, have really big goals. If you want to go viral, make that a goal. If you want to have a certain amount of followers, make that a goal. Don't put unrealistic expectations on yourself to accomplish that. So I really need you to take a step back. Think about where you're at right now. Think about what your schedule is, what you got going on in your life, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, wife, husband, kids, whatever you got going on in your life. Be realistic about it and think about the time that you would have to implement in the world of your life making content, posting content, creating content, because all of that is a lot. And then on top of that, you're building your business like there's not a lot of time in the world, okay? So don't put these unrealistic expectations of like, I'm going to post every single day, twice a day, because if you got a lot of stuff going on, you probably won't be able to accomplish those goals. And then you're going to feel like a failure. And then you're going to get stuck again. And then it's going to be this whole cycle yet again. Even when I started out, I work full time and I'm also building this business. I have a dog, I have friends, um, and I kept setting these unrealistic expectations, especially as a social media person. I was like, okay, I'm going to post every single day, 7 times a week. And I probably would hit 2 of those days and then I would fall off and then I would be back into this constant cycle of trying to build myself up again. Just be realistic with yourself. If you only have time to post twice a week, do it. Set the goal, hold yourself accountable. If you only have time to make content once a week, cool, set that as a goal, hold yourself accountable. Because again, when you don't follow through on your simple goals, then it's going to make it more difficult for you being able to authentically show up online. And my last bonus tip, don't put so much pressure on the content you're creating as well. I think also a lot of times we're like, okay, we're going to do this piece of content and it's going to go viral, it's going to be great, and then it flops. I manage a lot of different people's social media pages, and that happens all the time. I put so much effort into this video, and I'm like, I know it's gonna take off, and then it doesn't. A lot of times, the content that does really well and takes off is the content that you least expect. Like, I've talked about this in my last video, but I made a piece of content for my personal page, and it was just about all the freebies that I got in Chicago for my birthday, and it started off not doing super well, and now it has over 200,000 views and counting. And that video was posted almost a year and a half ago, and it's still racking up numbers. So don't put so much pressure on how it's going to do, because at the end of the day, that is out of your control. The only thing that you can control is how you're showing up. So those are all my tips for today. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. Help your girl out, okay? This will also conclude my series on visibility for this month. Next month, we're going to start a whole brand new series, and I'm also going to be implementing some worksheets so we can work together on some things. So stay tuned for that. And remember, don't hone in on perfectionism. Just start showing up. And I promise you, as you start showing up, start doing things, being realistic, being authentic and genuine, it's going to flow to you. I definitely am a firm believer what you put in is what you're going to get out. And that's exactly what's going to happen if you continue to, just show up authentically and be genuine. And also just start posting. That's all I have for you this week. I will see you all next week.